the night. I am Batman!
Hey guys, let me just start it out with like a bit of a spoiler warning. I will be talking about this game a lot during this review. Do I recommend this game? Unfortunately for me, that's a no. The story is not that great. Gameplay is extremely basic and boring when it isn't bullshit. The character customization is practically non-existent, and overall it's not worth the price they're asking for, even if you're a huge Batman fan. I can see where they were going with this, and I can at least say that they were trying, but in my opinion, it still failed, and this isn't the direction Batman games should be going from now on. Maybe you have a different opinion. Maybe you actually enjoy this game. Let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear about it. So from this point forward, I will be talking about the campaign. Not in full, but a significant amount. If you still want to play this game and you don't want to be spoiled with it, pause now, go play the game, and then when you beat it, come back. If you've already beaten it and or don't care about spoilers, well, let's just continue on with the video. Arkham Knight came out about 7 years ago, and that release was bad, but the gameplay was good. Sometimes the Batmobile definitely overstayed its welcome. Also, that Deathstroke fight was atrocious. But this isn't about Arkham Knight, this is about the newest Batman game WB Games just released. That isn't even about Batman. Huh. Yes, Gotham Knights is about the 4 Bat Children of Batman. Dick Grayson, Barbara Gordon, Jason Todd, and Tim Drake. Get out of here, Damian, you're not welcome in this club. This game was developed by WB Games Montreal, who also made Arkham Origins, which I really loved, and nothing else really. They made the port to Arkham City for the Wii U, and the DLC story missions for Arkham Knight, but other than that, they made nothing else, and, well, this was at least an attempt, if anything. This game also features 4-player co-op, 2-player co-op, but I only have one PS5 and I don't have friends. So I had to play this in single player only. So I don't really know how multiplayer is. I assume there isn't really that much of a difference. The game begins with Batman fighting Ra's al Ghul in the Batcave. And, man, this Batman is lame. How the hell is he gonna get his ass kicked in his own home like this? Riddle me this, Ra's. If only Alfred was here to hear this. I mean, look right here. He allows himself to get stabbed. Why? What strategic advantage did you give yourself by letting yourself get wounded like this? Sure, he gets a headbutt in, but those claws or fins on his wrist are there to parry swords. You don't need to use your organs to hold the blade, Batman. It's not like it stops him. He gets right back up after this, and Batman is contemplating dying or something, and he activates Code Black, the multiple contingency plan in the event of Batman's death. Batman has a lot of contingencies. It's kind of on brand with him. Actually, you know, Rage actually brings up a good point. Where's Superman in all this? I know Batman as a whole gotta do this myself kind of deal, but I think League of Shadows is a pretty big problem, like almost Justice League levels, and Ra's al Ghul is killing you in your own home. You'd think one of the plans would be to call Superman because he can hear from very far away, and is even able to hear Batman's heartbeat from others, so he knows where he is exactly. I'm just saying, Superman could have made this fight a lot easier, and without Batman dying. Hell, the Flash would have even been a big help. So yeah, Batman blows up the Batcave, taking himself and Ra's al Ghul along with him, and the Batkids are all upset about it. But this is the DC Universe, this is Batman, he's probably not dead. No one ever stays dead in comics. Most of the time, people don't stay dead in comics.
I'm leaving you the Belfry as the base of operations. Some of the technology is outdated, but it has the gear you need and all of my files.
Wow, so we get a crappy studio apartment? Gee, thanks, Batman. Why didn't you keep everything up to date? So, literally, the first, 15 minutes of this game is a big cutscene, which isn't that big of a deal. It does build up the story, which I like. I can see 15 minutes being a little bit too long for some people. And yeah, maybe they should have just had the player fight as Batman instead of just sitting there and watching. It probably would have served this a lot better. But, again, I'm fine with it being that long. So, big shock, with Batman dead, Bruce Wayne is also magically dead, which I'm sure has no connections with Batman. Or the fact that the Batcave blew up under Wayne Manor. Did they even investigate that area? And totally evil McBad guy over here giving the speech is Jacob Kane, Bruce's uncle on the side of his mother Martha.
Why did you say that name?
I'm sure he's not going to be like a major villain or anything. It's not like this was really bad storytelling. So now you can choose which character to start as. Had I known it would immediately put us into a mission, I would have chosen Nightwing, but I went with Red Hood instead. And we're immediately brought into gameplay. We have to go look for Dr. Langstrom, also known as Man-Bat for those without comic book knowledge, and he's dead. Well, you're doing a bang-up job so far, guys. Doing some detective work, we find out that Langstrom has been working on some project before he died. And with the cops, not surprisingly, not really doing anything about it.
We think we're dealing with a supernatural being, most likely a mummy.
Heading out, we meet the Freaks, one of the 5 whole gangs in this game, which are basically all the same. Well, okay, 3 are the same, with the last 2 being slightly different, but actually just being the same to each other. Anyway, here's where we're introduced to combat, and with this combat, you play through every combat situation in the game. Now, I'm going to compare this game to the Arkham series games. I know it's not in the Arkham universe, but it's created by the same company, so. This combat is terrible. They try to mimic Spider-Man's combat system, which, while I didn't like it in that game, at least it was kind of like fighting like Spider-Man, jumping around, webbing up criminals. Here, you get 1 button to attack, hold down for a heavy attack, a range attack, and a dodge button, with each character having something that makes them more unique. Yeah, this system is bad. Remember in the Arkham games, you felt like Batman? You remember how you could actually like counterattack? Well, you can't here, you can only dodge. But why? Why would you change the system up that much? You could play as one of these guys in the Arkham games. You could have just adapted the combat system there and put it into here. It becomes tedious now, but later on, it just gets downright bullshit how combat is in this game. Made apparent with the first heavy guy you fight. You have to heavy attack to stun him so you can attack him like maybe 3 times before he puts his shields back up. He also has multiple attacks, which I found a hard time dodging. He's kind of relentless in his attacks, and it doesn't really do that well with dodging. And each special character just gets worse and worse. We don't get the Batmobile, we get the Batcycle. Only 1, and it sucks too. It feels like I should be able to go faster on this bike, but the game just forces it to only go so fast, making it feel restricted as I drive. And there's not much to it, I barely used it. It was a lot better just grappling and only really need to use it to go across bridges until a little bit later in the game. But look, this game has civilians! That's really neat. That makes Gotham feel a lot more alive, and they'll actually talk to you too.
You're that vigilante Red Hood.
Hey, what's up? Haven't heard from you in a while.
My fridge stopped working a few days ago, and I've been stressing out.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, and I've got textbooks to pay for right now.
My niece is good at fixing things. Maybe she can help.
What's the holdup? I think it's done for this time. I need to get myself a new one.
The GCPD has a new commissioner because Gordon died before this game from a sickness that I'm sure took the lives of many Disney parents. The new commissioner has an anti-vigilante policy that I'm pretty sure just happened so that the cops would be an enemy in this game. I can't even say it's for the game's story because overall it's not. The cops never really become a problem except for like the 2 times you go to Blackgate and you have to fight them. And later in the story, after some obvious twists with the commissioner being kind of involved, nothing really happens from that. And since you still have to help a few cops, and Montoya is still a contact, you could have just had the police be on friendly terms and nothing really would have been different. I don't even know how Batman could be considered a vigilante if the Justice League exists. I know they're probably not like the Avengers and is protected by the government, but they got a big satellite in space, they at least have to have UN's approval, right? And yes, before you go down in the comment section, Superman and the Justice League both exist in this universe. We periodically get emails from other DC characters like Superman, Superboy, Wonder Woman, one of the Flashes, and a bunch of characters I actually don't really know about. And Robin gets the ability to use the Watchtower's teleporters to get around faster, so yeah, they're in this universe. One of the big things that drew me into this game was customizing all 4 of the heroes. And they fucked it up. I'm sorry, they did. You get crafting blueprints for your armor, your melee, and range weapons, but I never really noticed the differences between the range and the melee weapon, so I just worry about getting the best stats. As for armor, well, here's my problem. You don't really customize it. The armor you craft does give you different appearances, but it's one of those, well, you don't like the look of this gear, but you're forced to choose between looks and stats, which always suck. And yeah, you could just transmog them, giving them a set appearance of sets you unlocked, but you can't customize those looks. So, say you did the sensible thing and always kept Red Hood in anything but a Red Hood, you can't really do that with the transmogs. They're forever set to look like that. And you can change a whole 4 things. The mask, the logo, which could have just not been there with how pointless the looks are, the gloves, and the boots. Whoop-de-fucking-do. And they're basically the same option between all the costumes, so it doesn't really matter. And you can't really unlock more of those decisions, which would have been cool. Hell, the costumes aren't even that good. The Batman Beyond designs are god-awful. Glad I wasted money on the Deluxe Edition. By the way, don't get the Deluxe Edition. Nothing on there is worth it. You get a new bike design, which you're never going to see because you barely use it. Yeah, the Jim Lee designs are cool and all, but you can't customize them, so I never really used them. Except Batgirl's. I think this is my favorite Batgirl outfit. The only thing in the customization I liked is the color schemes, and at least the Deluxe Edition gave me the Zurvan R Batman design. I don't know why they keep bringing this Batman costume scheme back. I never really liked the design, but I can at least have Jason Todd be the hero he always should have been. Purple Hood! So now we go around and beat up criminals, till we have to go to GCPD to get Langstrom's bioscan to decrypt his hard drive thing. Cops are stupidly difficult and don't give you anything, so it's always best to avoid them. So yeah, Catherine Kane is the new commissioner who has an anti-vigilante policy for some fucking reason, and the cops are apparently corrupt again after Gordon died. Which, in all honesty, doesn't seem possible that all the good cops just really disappeared after his death. And come on, no Harvey Bullock? He was like the best corrupted cop the force had. Why don't they just bring him in more? Talia shows up to burn Raze's body, and now we have to escape. I think now's a good time to talk about stealth. There is none. Not really. Okay, so in the Arkham games, you know how Batman can cling to walls, zip around, and actually, stealth around criminals? See, in those games, stealth was an actual thing that they considered. But you don't really need to stealth at all in this game. It's almost completely pointless. The only time stealth is really needed is when it's a bonus objective or one of the bomb threats or organ smuggling side crimes. And also, your movement in this game is completely fucked. I don't know how to properly explain it without you actually just doing it yourself, but they definitely needed to work on this. Dropping down never has you just drop down. They always gotta jump 5 feet forward for some reason, and it usually fucks up my stealth attempts. And the side missions that require you to go through like these checkpoint things become 10 times more difficult because of it. So you're stuck zipping around buildings till you complete your knighthood side quest. For each character, which is the same objective. Defeat heavy guys 3 times, stop 10 premeditated crimes, which is a chore, and to do the stupid perfect hit training, which no matter how hard I tried, it never really worked unless I just mashed the buttons and I don't care. But yeah, you gotta do that for each character, meaning I gotta listen to Batman's unskippable dialogue 4 times. And all you get is the ability to play as your character more. Really, that's it. You unlock your special abilities, which all kind of suck, except like Batgirl's drone companion, and then you get your faster travel ability. Nightwing gets a drone, like he's in Fortnite, or just Snake's up special. Batgirl glides, kind of like Batman, but a lot worse. Robin uses the Watchtower teleporter, which doesn't even sound like a good idea. And Red Hood can pull magic out of his ass. He has never had this ability before, as far as I know, and it's never really explained outside of, well, he was resurrected from the Lazarus Pit once. And Nightwing is really the only one that's good, because with the other characters, you slowly descend down, whereas Nightwing can actually go upwards, meaning, yeah, it's really the best for traveling. But that all quickly becomes pointless once Lucius Fox comes in and gives you the Bat Drone with the fast travel options. At least with Nightwings, you can quickly get to each point to activate the fast travel. Premeditative crimes are lame too. They're all boiled down to the same fucking thing. Fight criminals. Except for bomb threats, because there's 3 bombs and they take a long time to defuse, and once you get caught, the timer goes down, and if you still have all 3 bombs, there's no way you're getting it in time.
I disarmed it. You're gonna be fine. Just wait here. Be quiet.
And crime scene investigation, which seems neat at first. You gotta find out what happened and find the evidence that leads you to the murderer. But it quickly becomes apparent that all you need to do is look for the 5 clues, and pick the one that obviously gives the guy away. It's not even a puzzle at this point. And you still gotta find the guy and go beat him up. So out of the 4, I came to the conclusion that really only 2 are worth playing during single player in terms of abilities. Batgirl and Red Hood. Red Hood is a heavy hitter and has this ability that he can quickly defeat multiple enemies with his pistol, and gets a talent that lets him grab enemies at half health and even grab heavy enemies to take them out quicker. Batgirl is more of a tanky person and built for combat, and I found her the most similar to Batman in the Arkham games out of the 4. Not 100% exactly, but it's close enough. Plus, she gets 2 talents that makes her the best in my opinion. The talent that lets her get up after being knocked down, which you can further increase to be able to do it twice, and the don't have to worry about turrets or camera talent. This single talent makes stealthing in this game a complete joke. At one point, there's this hallway with tons of bombs and lasers you can just run through because she doesn't trip any of them. This also instantly makes Robin the most useless because he's a stealth-focused character and not really built to take out groups of enemies, which this game constantly makes you fight. Bottom line, don't play as Robin, he sucks. Even Nightwing is better, even though most of his talents focus on team fighting, but again, I'm playing this alone. And also, each character has unique dialogue in the cutscenes and missions you play as them. See, Nightwing is the blue leader, Red Hood is the big red bruiser who argues with the lead constantly, Batgirl is the purple tech person, and Robin is the annoying little brother in the group, and wait a minute. That's the Ninja Turtles! How did you make them the Ninja Turtles? Why didn't you just make a Ninja Turtles game? Hell, you could probably argue that Alfred is basically Splinter, Langstrom could have just been Baxter Stockman, the League of Shadows is basically the Foot Clan, with Shredder being Ra's al Ghul and Talia being his daughter Conroy, and Harley Quinn? Well, okay, you got me there. I don't really know any characters in TMNT that could be similar to Harley. Irma, maybe? Also, what? Harley's here? Yeah, apparently Batman had her help him while she was in Blackgate, which doesn't really at all sound like Batman. I get getting her to help when she eventually turns over a new leaf and becomes like the anti-hero, but not right now while she's a criminal in prison.
Wait, hasn't Harley Quinn been out of Gotham ever since, you know, her ex killed me? Isn't that what you meant?
Actually, that brings up a good point. Where the hell is Joker? Is he alive? Is he dead? Does he know Batman is dead? I feel like he would have, something to say about it. He's never really mentioned outside of like some dialogues and text. But yeah, now we gotta go talk to Harley, which I did as Red Hood, because hey, they both got smacked around by Joker. They at least have that in common.
Still big as an ox and twice as mean.
Joke's on you, I'm into that shit!
So Harley makes us go down to the records room where you have to get her what she needs to finish the report she had for Batman. Which she then chained up into a balloon and Red Hood just watched it go by. What? Just shoot the fucking balloon! Or hell, just grab it when it was a foot away from you. Why the fuck did you do this? It just makes it more complicated. So yeah, we have to go chase it while a cover of Living La Vida Loca is playing, but you can barely hear it. After getting the book, Harley somehow escapes, leading into a side story with her. Besides the main story, there's 3 and only 3 villains for you to fight. There's Harley, Mr. Freeze, and Clayface? What, was Killer Moth too busy? And what, you couldn't get anyone else? Not Two-Face? What about Anarchy? Probably would have been a great fit here. Hell, even Black Mask and the Mafia would have been better than fucking Clayface. His story isn't even that good or long. It was very clear that they had no idea what to do with him. And the difficulty is fucked too. You see this recommended level right here? Yeah, that actually means don't bother till you're a level above this number, because at least in single player, this game makes it bullshit hard. It's not even like good hard, or hard that's rewarding. It's hard because the game has stupid game stat scores, and really wants you to play this in multiplayer, and if you don't, then your job just got a lot harder. Enemies will scale to you no matter what, unless you're on a stage with a set level. So no matter what level I got or what power level my stats were, I never really felt more powerful, and the arbitrary stats are, well, arbitrary. You have to fight crime to find random loot that's randomly generated and gives you a random look and random stats with random colors, and I could never find the different colors. Some gear lets you do elemental attacks, which some enemies are more weak to. Mr. Freeze the Fire, for example. But good luck, I never really figured out how to get the game to drop the gear I want, so I either had to go without elemental attacks or use a weaker weapon with fire. And later on, we find out through the Penguin that the Court of Owls is involved. Oh goody, the Court of Owls. I hate the Court of Owls. I never liked them, and I don't understand how people like them. The Court of Owls, like most of the New 52, is complete garbage. But anyway, once they show up, you have to fight Talons, who suck because you can't hit them till you hold down the range attack button to stun them. Then the League of Shadows show up, and you better have elemental damage, because otherwise they're just going to keep poofing out of existence and stabbing you. So yeah, let's talk about the villains here. Let's start with Harley's evil plan to... You know, I don't think I fully understand it myself. She stole a bunch of inhibitors that are like microchips or pills or something, and is selling them off as sort of a cure-all to mind-control people. And the people of Gotham are okay with Harley frickin' Quinn of all people to sell them a drug? What kind of people would just blindly listen to an obvious maniac and let themselves be manipulated with, you know what, I'm just gonna shut up. After that, she launches an attack in the hospital and you have to go stop her. And I'll give the game this, they at the very least gave Harley a boss fight, unlike the other Arkham games. But yeah, each of the villains kind of follow that pattern with very little variation. Freeze is stealing stuff for his Weather Dominator, and his fight is lame. Again, remember in Arkham City where his boss fight was one of the coolest, pun intended, where you had to avoid him and attack him in various different ways? Well, here you just punch him, but after he gets caught, you gotta go fight him again. This time he took over Blackgate and was riding a giant mech, and this fight was full of crap. He never really let up, and even though I was in the middle of the recommended levels, he took my health down by a huge chunk each time. But other than that, it was just kind of boring. And Clayface, I shouldn't even have to talk about him. He was in this for so little. Like, seriously, at least Harley and Mr. Freeze, you had to fight some crime outside to get information, and they had multiple stages at least. With Clayface, it's just find him an X amount of times, go to this location, fight him, then go to this location and fight him again. And that's it! And his boss fight's the most bullshit, which is fitting because he looks like a pile of shit. Look, I'm level 25 right now, one level below the highest recommended level. Yet this fucking fight, he takes out your health so fucking quickly. And he never lets up, he just keeps attacking. And no, I don't care what the guide says. He doesn't really telemarket his attacks. Look at this, I'm supposed to be doing like almost at least 1,000 damage and oh great, the game doesn't pause when I'm in that menu. Thanks a lot, game. Fucking bullshit piece of shit boss fight. I can't believe they thought this was okay. You fucking... Shut the fuck up, Tim! It's not even any better after this. It's just a very, very terrible bike chase scene and 2 more phases in the boiler room. That's it. God, this sucks. Shock of all shock, it's revealed that Jacob Kane is the voice for the Court of Owls. What's bullshit is that he knew Bruce was Batman, but Batman had no idea who he was. Which, yeah, I call bullshit. How the fuck did he know about Bruce being Batman?
Just like I knew my nephew Bruce was out there, keeping the peace in his armored pajamas. Don't worry, I didn't tell anyone. Call it loyalty to Martha.
I call it you're an idiot. You know, if you want your villain to be intimidating, you're gonna have to, like, you know, put in work and actually make it believable and not just, oh, he knew Batman was Bruce Wayne because shut up. And yeah, that's all I'm going to talk about for the story. Despite me not really liking it, especially towards the end, it kind of feels weird spoiling the entire story for a game that just came out, you know? You shouldn't really get this game at all because it's pretty bad. Just get one of the Arkham games. For $60 on Steam, you can get the Arkham Collection, which has all the DLCs from Asylum City and Night. It's cheaper and a much better time. I even hear that they fixed Arkham Knight for PC. I never really had any bugs except like Jason's jacket glitch, so the strings was forever stuck in place.
You think I'm a monster?
We have one setback. And this is where you go, Tim? Murder?
One time as Batgirl, I stealth took down a League of Shadows guy who teleported as I attacked them. So they were able to teleport away and Batgirl kind of just sat there while the cops were shooting over her head and I guess she was just talking about equal pay or something.
Same job, same employer means equal pay for men and women.
No time for jokes, Batgirl.
Movement was very, very annoying. And you can't reload checkpoints. Probably because this is like a constant multiplayer game, but it's just aggravating when the game just decides you'll lose and you can't redo the stealth challenge. Now, there are good things about this game, despite it only being 30 frames per second, which I never really saw that as a problem, and I assume it's because it's in a constant multiplayer state or something, but the game looks good. The costumes are okay. I wish there was more options for customization, and I wish the colors were easier to get, and again, more options. But combat is terrible, the story is meh at best, and there's no option to play as one of the others after beating the last level so you can get their ending, cause yeah, they all have different endings. And yeah, there's no way to get the new endings except like going through New Game Plus, but fuck that, I don't think the endings are going to be that worth it. If you do play through this, it's probably best in my opinion to just play through as one character. But in all honesty, playing through this 4 times is not worth it. What they could have done was get more of Batman's rogue gallery in it as well, and also explain why some of them aren't there. Like the Joker, for instance. It's hard to believe that he wouldn't be here unless he was dead as well. If you still really want to get this game, I implore you, just wait until it's like $20, and even then, only get it like pre-owned. Or just borrow it from a friend. If you don't ever play this game, you're not missing anything. Thank you guys so much for watching my video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please comment down below what you thought of this game. Maybe you liked it more than I did. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. It really helps me out in the algorithm, and it helps you guys out by letting you know when my next videos are out. I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, you guys take care.
Tech-powered street gangs, secret societies, heroes in capes. Sounds so ridiculous when you say it out loud.
This is starting to sound like a bad comic book plot. It gets worse.